I'm Ralph Hoyte. I'm a Bristol-based declamatory poet, writer and pervasive media producer. I'm creating a work in the Quantox which is called Romantic Litscape. What this work aims to do is create what I call audio ghosts of the three romantic poets who are most connected to this area, namely William Wordsworth, Dorothy Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I'm standing in front of the Ancient Mariner, of course, with the albatross around his neck at the harbour at Watchet. These monologues, dialogues and trialogues are created by me. So in a sense I'm using authentic material, but I'm building up fictitious dialogues. In a sense they're fictitious, in another sense they're not, because I'm using a lot of the Romantic poet's own words. What I'm trying to do is using new technology. I'm using GPS-triggered technologies for the smartphone, which are location-based. The interesting thing about this technology is it's triggered in location, which makes it extremely site-specific. What's interesting, of course, is these regions can be inhabited with any sort of content you want. Along with SatSynth, which is my three-man collaborative, we prefer to work in audio because I think the main reason is you don't want to go to a beautiful place like Watchet or wander around the Quantox peering at your screen. I create what I'm calling a Litscape, which is short for a literary soundscape, and I inhabit this with regions with sound content. So if you can imagine a virtual cloud of sound floating over me at the moment. When I walk into this with my smartphone, I start up the app and tell it to run. It then looks for where the GPS coordinates are. It says, aha, Ralph is in a sound region around the Ancient Mariner. Play him this content. So all the content and all the instructions for playing the content are on the smartphone. The interesting thing is that you can program what you want to happen in the audio regions. So the simplest direction, of course, would be to say, Ralph, when Ralph enters the zone, play him the content. When Ralph leaves the zone, stop the content. You can also have enter, leave, pause, go back in again, it plays from where it left. You could also have enter, oh, Ralph's heard this already, play him something else. You can have all sorts of different types of behavior, which makes it entirely different from an MP3 experience. And the fact that you control this soundscape by walking is another, it's a unique experience, really. The Golden Three, Dorothy Wordsworth, William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, I think they'd be interested in locational technology because it is exactly that, locational. And what the Romantic poets did was they took poetry out of what it had been, which was a salon-based art. People would pontificate and in the most orotund phrases and with plentiful references to classical literature and so on in the drawing rooms of the middle classes, perhaps, and certainly of the elite. What the three Romantic poets did was they would walk and they would compose at the same time, and they would also, of course, use the language of the common man, but the point is they would compose en plein air, as they called it. They would compose as they walked and talked. So in that sense, they were locational. They composed in location, observing nature, writing about nature and philosophy and religion and politics. They would have used this technology.